Hey guys, so today what we're going to be talking about is water damage covered by homeowners insurance. Now, this is a big question, and honestly, the answer isn't as simple as you might think. So let's roll the intro and we'll jump right into it. Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Rico Garcia, founder of EcoTech Pro, and if you are new to the channel, first and foremost, welcome. Make sure that you subscribe, hit that notification bell so that way as we release new content, you're the first one to know about it, and more importantly, you're showing us a little bit of love and helping us grow the channel. So, big question for the day. Is water damage covered by homeowners insurance? So there's a lot to unpack there, right? First of all, what kind of water damage is it that we're talking about? Number one, is it flood? Well, if it's flood and you don't have flood coverage, which is a totally separate policy, then of course, any water damage that happened inside of the property immediately has nothing to do with your homeowners insurance, which means that you're either going to your flood insurance or you're paying out of pocket, and there's really not a whole lot you could do about that, right? The second thing is really when it comes down to anything related to insurance is how is the policy written, right? So recently we've seen a lot of changes with homeowners insurance, and we're now starting to see things like $10,000 water caps, meaning that even if you have water damage coverage, if it exceeds or the damage exceeds and the repairs exceed $10,000, you're maxed out at $10,000. Anything above and beyond that is the homeowner's responsibility. So there's a lot of things there, right? Making sure that you review your policy and try to figure out what exactly it is that you're covered for. Are there any exclusions on your policy, things of that nature? And more importantly, try to make sure that there's not a policy limit, especially one of these really small caps like $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 water caps, which again, if you've ever had any kind of water damage in your property, you know that you can eat up through $10,000 very quickly. So the other portion is when it comes down to is water damage covered within a homeowner's insurance policy, is it depends on the kind of water damage, right? Where was this water coming from in the first place? Was it sudden and accidental? Because most policies will cover water damage, but they're only going to cover it if it was sudden and accidental. And then there's also time frames, right? How long ago has this damage been happening? In other words, if this was a slow leak, if it was seepage, something along those lines, these are all grounds potentially for a field adjuster or the desk adjuster at the insurance company to look at the claim and say, you know what, we are just going to simply outright deny it. So as a homeowner, as a property owner, what should you do if in the event of a water damage event? Number one, really what should happen in a perfect world is before you even have or being faced with a situation where you might have to call an insurance claim is get really informed on your insurance policy, right? And there's a couple of ways that you could do this. Number one, speak to the person who sold you the insurance coverage in the first place. Best option, at least in my opinion, is to get in contact with a public adjuster if you have a public adjuster in your area. The reason why this is really powerful is because a public adjuster is used to speaking and representing clients first and foremost, but speaking to the insurance companies and making sure that the client that they represent are being reimbursed to the full extent of the policy, right? Making sure that they're being taken care of every single step of the way. So inevitably, they're really familiar with policy language. And honestly, the difference between coverage and not having coverage really is as simple as how the policy is written. And sometimes it's a difference between an and an or in the policy language. So if you have the ability to have somebody review your policy with you to make educated decisions and to find out whether or not there are potential vulnerabilities in your overall coverage, that would obviously be the best step. But in the event that you have a water damage issue now, then a couple of steps that you should consider. Number one, first and foremost, try to mitigate the damage as quickly as you possibly can. Meaning, if this is from a supply line or something that you can go out and turn the water off to prevent any further damage, inevitably that should be step number one. Step number two is contact a professional water mitigation company that can go ahead and guide you through the process. Start the water mitigation process as soon as possible, meaning putting down the air movers, putting down the dehumidifiers, doing whatever it is that needs to be done in order to protect the property from secondary damages. The next step you should take is get in contact, again, if you have the ability in your area, with a public adjuster. A public adjuster, again, is going to fight for your rights, fight for your money, make sure that you are made whole 100%. A lot of times, we as homeowners, we believe, hey, we've been paying for homeowners insurance for months on end, years sometimes, and I'm going to be covered. Regardless of what kind of problem I have, I'm going to pick up the phone, I'm going to speak with the desk adjuster, and I am going to be taken care of. That's why I've been paying into the policy. However, the reality, and in the real world, it just simply doesn't work that way. Insurance companies, not to say that they don't always do the right thing, but 9 times out of 10, they're always trying to either minimize the amount of damage that they see and obviously pay as little out to the customer as humanly possible. Again, it is a business. They're in the business of collecting premiums, not paying out thousands of dollars for damages. So again, take that with a grain of salt. So guys, I hope that this video helps. Again, the big takeaways here are, is water damage covered? Yeah, sure. If you have the right type of water damage and assuming you don't have exclusions, and the best way for you to go ahead and find out is take a deep dive into your policy moving forward, and that way you know exactly where you stand at all times. Again, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Go ahead and give that a thumbs up, hit that notification bell. That way, as we drop new content, you are the very, very first one to know. And until next time, I'll see you guys soon.